as crisis.org.uk tell us, what can be done? Well, we just need to build those houses. There's a crisis. It's a housing crisis. You can do nothing but build houses. They were complaining, in fact, that only, and this is for social housing as well. So this isn't including private development or anything like that. But 23,000 in 2015, 2016 were built in England. And this is an issue. This is not nearly enough because, of course, it's not enough. If you've got a net 300,000 moving into the country every year, which has gone up presumably to around 500,000 from last year, well, of course, that's not going to be enough. That's a ridiculous thing. So, as you say, the cost of housing goes up, the demand for it goes up, and yet they are profiting maximally at every point on that step.
Yeah.
But you've got people like Sadiq Khan who virtue signal all over Instagram. Oh, look at we're building council homes at smashing records. It's like, okay, great. That's not the issue. The issue is the demand. And then you get people who are ostensibly...
It's the idea that it's a success story, that more people are living in council houses than ever before.
Exactly. I should have made that point more clearly. As in, this is a record of your failure. But then, to be fair, Sadiq, this isn't really your fault. You're just the mayor of London. You don't get to control immigration rates. The Conservative Party do, and this is their failure being offloaded onto your shoulders. But you're making a virtue out of this when it's not a virtue. This is terrible. So anyway, you get ostensible Conservatives like Julia Hartley-Brewer, who normally I have a lot of time for, but just seem to have totally dropped the ball on this one. Oh, here you go, Boris Johnson. Here's your plan. Build more houses. Oh, thanks, Julia. What's the limit on this? Just out of interest. When we look like Megacity 1, will you be like, well, there we go. We built all the houses, and be like, okay, but there's no more land to build on. Just build upwards until we're all in the stratosphere, until the entire world is piled on our tiny island. This is, of course, also the policy that radical left-wingers from Labour promote. We can go to the next one, Richard Burgon, who is just the dullest, most mediocre socialist.
Tell me he's not a Conservative.
No, he's a socialist. He's a Labour Party MP. But he's also utterly witless. And you can see, he's like, well, just build 100,000 council houses. Yeah, eventually maybe we'll all be living in council houses. Literally street by street, terraced council houses, the length and breadth of England. Won't that be wonderful?
I mean, I'd also like to point out that there are supply chain issues because the global supply chain does also affect the amount of new build housing that you can produce. You need to get the materials from somewhere. You also need the workers from somewhere. And that's not something you can just create overnight. You can't create these economies in that way.
But the socialists think that the government is an unlimited font of power.
Yeah.
And so they think, well, you can just fabricate it using the government's authority. But anyway, so when people say, well, what if there's not simply enough land to build on? I mean, we're not a giant island. Well, as Ash Sarkar points out, if you can scroll down so you can see that headline, why don't you just build over every London golf course?
What has the left got against golf courses?
I don't know. I think they view them as like an aristocratic form of entertainment and leisure.
Like it's as much of a capitalist meme as the Monopoly Man's hat almost at this point. But it's almost a meme at this point that they're just always about, get rid of golf courses, build over golf courses, ban golf courses.
What's wrong with golf courses? Like, they're not just for the rich. I've got friends who play golf. They're not rich.
Yeah.
They just like golf because
it's not like horse riding or playing polo or something like that.
Exactly. You buy a set of golf clubs, which might be a moderately expensive investment in and of itself, assuming you buy them first hand. You don't just get a second hand set. But then you don't have to do anything. Like, it's not like you say, not like a horse or something. But look at the solution here. Oh, there's not enough room. Oh, Ash Sarkar, build over the golf courses. Okay, 300,000 people. Right. So that's 1 year's worth of immigration. What do we do next year?
Yeah.
What do we do the year after that? And the year after that? This is by no means any solution. And when people are like, well, hang on a second, if we go to the next one, we don't actually want to build over our beautiful green spaces. It's just, golf courses are not beautiful green spaces.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, how are they not?
I mean, Ash Sarkar probably has never played golf in her life, never even visited a golf course, but there we go.
But why would a golf course not be a beautiful green space?
It's literally an enormous curated garden.
Exactly. But moreover, why should we not want to have golf courses? I mean, I don't play golf, but I don't want to get rid of the golf courses. I think there should be an option for people's leisure. I might want to play golf at some point in my life, but moreover, where does it stop? Okay, so we got rid of the golf courses, Ash. Well, I like going walking in the woods. They're not beautiful spaces. Pave those over as well. There's no end to this particular form of logic.
I thought the left was supposed to be pro-greenery as well, pro-environment.
Apparently not. They don't care about the green spaces as soon as it comes to housing the third world. And so how many homes do we need? That's the question, isn't it? Well, England is projected to have 210,000 extra households between 2014 and 2039.
Wow.
And that's not people, that's households. So if you estimate, say, 4 people per household, you're looking at quite a few households that they're expecting to come in. Now, as we saw before, you wouldn't divine that number from the population growth of the English and the Welsh. You would say, well, I would roughly estimate there'd be about 45 million of them in 2039. So where is this coming from? It has to be mass immigration. Dr. Alan Holmans, a housing expert at the University of Cambridge, has produced new estimates of the housing gap. His analysis suggests we need to build 170,000 additional private sector houses and 75,000 social sector houses. So about 250,000 houses a year, excluding any reductions in the existing housing stock. As in, they want to house every single person who arrives here in a new house. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Where does this end? This is madness. And so you get to the next one. The total houses that have been built in England, according to the government's own data. I had to go through the Excel spreadsheet on this, so you can't get it up. But since 1997, 3.5 million new houses have been built in total. Well, that's interesting because probably we're going to see that around 15 million new people have come in. So the houses are, of course, I mean, there's going to be families
since 1997.
Since 1997.
Wow.
So there are going to be, probably 3 or 4 people at least per house, but you can still see that the number of new houses is dramatically under what is required, which is why they're complaining. But that's an average of 142,000 houses per year. And so again, if we ask, well, who are we building houses for? If we go to the next thing, right? This is the fertility rate in the United Kingdom. Again, we've got the numbers. The numbers are all in. It's all totally in. In 2020, it was below replacement rate, and it has been below replacement rate since 1970.
Wow.
1970 was the last time that British women produced enough children to sustain the population that we have. We know we're not building houses.
It is worth pointing out on this as well that you can't just go from total fertility rate because it matters a lot at what age these children are born, because if you have 2 children in your early 20s compared to 2 children in your late 30s, then that's a much faster rate of population
That
growth.
is true.
So, but yes.
But either way, we know that we're below the 2.1 that you need to maintain a stable population. So I expect in the next census we will see that there has been a population dip, and that we can expect to have far greater numbers of foreign people living in England and Wales. It's just got to be the case. The numbers are in. This has to be the case. And so it's not just a problem with the numbers, of course. This is a person who went into with a Ukrainian flag in their bio. So not like a radical far-right person or anything. I should have got this clip really ready for the thing, but the nurse has turned up and said, we've got a 7-hour wait in the accident and emergency.
Yeah.
I mean, you've broken your leg. You've got to wait for 7 hours to see someone fix it, or at least set it, But this is, of course, the problem. When you have huge numbers of people coming into infrastructure that was built 20, 30 years ago, well, the infrastructure can't cope with that. It's not just housing. It is going to be the NHS. As the Nuffield Trust described to us, A&E waiting times are crazy. If we can scroll down, you can see there's a graph in this. There we go. That red line that's plummeting, if you can scroll down a little bit more, just so you can see the, So that's the percentage. Sorry, go back up a sec. So the percentage of people who are seen in 4 hours or less is down from like 90%, 60%.
Gosh.
95%, 60%. And that's in the last year or 2 years. Sorry. Oh, no. Sorry. No, that's from 2011. Sorry. So that's a massive, massive drop, as you can see.
So now 40% of people who go to A&E spend more than 4 hours before they're...
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't be happy spending like 3.5 hours, but I wouldn't be on that red line. Not good. Not good for the NHS. And of course, the NHS is a black hole of money, which everyone knows. Let's go to the next one. You can see the spending. If this is just the total net spending of not gross spending of the NHS. Actually, back in 2007, it was 111 billion. Now it's 176 billion. So it's more than 50% increase, basically. Where's that? And then you can see the 2 spikes for COVID, which, okay, fair enough. But that's not that's just a temporary measure, but the actual total isn't going down. It's just going up. Well, because it has to, because the demand is just going up, because there are just so many more people. But who are we funding? We're funding healthcare for people who have just arrived. Do we have to do this? Well, it seems we don't have a choice. Can Tom Harwood speak about this at all?
No, he only addresses supply side, not demand side. The demand side is taboo. And
none of the people on that Question Time, the BBC Question Time panel. BBC Question Time is probably the most well-watched political show in the UK. This is why it's a big deal when these topics are raised. No one mentioned the question of why there is so much demand.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.